Uncle Trump has one shot, one opportunity to stop the death of America. One moment with the freedom of vengeance, but with DC written young.
Vivek's palms are sweaty, his next big job gets heavy. There's curry on his sweater already, mom's tandoori. He's nervous, but DOD is getting order ready to drop bombs, cause he gon' got the fat with Betty. He goes down, DC crowd cries so loud. He opens his mouth, the words if I just come out. They choking now, we the people joking now. The clock's run out, time's up, over, blah. Snap back, DOD.
Today, the MAGA Kingdom Report welcomes Mr. Art Del Cueto, who is a retired Border Patrol agent and is an expert in border security, human trafficking, and drug trafficking. Mr. Del Cueto became a national spokesperson for Border Patrol agents, regularly engaging with policymakers and the public on matters of border security. He has been speaking at rallies alongside our great President Trump, attended multiple meetings at the White House, and even testified before Congress on issues affecting national security and frontline agents. Welcome to the show, Art, and thank you for your service.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Fabulous, because you really know your stuff. So much has been going on with, dealing. I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of the cartels. You've seen a lot over those 21 years. Would that be correct?
Yeah, so I'm right in the corridor with all the cartels. I worked most of my career in Arizona, which was on the Tohono O'odham Native American reservation. And that is the main corridor for drugs coming into the United States. During the Obama administration, that corridor was responsible for over 40% of all the seizures in the entire country. Wow. And it continues to be an alleyway for drug trafficking. And a lot of it is because of the media. I point the finger at the media on this one. And on both sides, the right-leaning media and the left-leaning media, it is just so much easier to go to Texas. A lot of people go to Texas, and the governor there is welcoming, the state troopers are welcoming, the mayors. It's just easier to go to Texas and be able to film and say, I was at the border. So a lot of individuals go to Texas because they can stay in a decent hotel 10 minutes away from the actual border. They go there, they stay there for a weekend, they get their story, they take their pictures by the fence, and they're good to go. Arizona is very, very unique. So Arizona, when you start talking about the Tohono O'odham Nation, which everyone calls the TO Nation, okay, because it's just so harder to say Tohono O'odham, right? And so the Tohono O'odham Nation, you're looking at over 60 linear miles with Mexico. That pretty much is open border. And a lot of those areas, the most fencing that you have to this day is 5 strands of barbed wire. That's it. Wow. Then there's other areas where you have 1 strand and it's literally 1.5 feet off the ground. That's the only barrier you have. But because it's Native American land, Border Patrol's hands are kind of handcuffed on how they can patrol there. They're allowed to patrol, but they're not allowed to put sensors. They're not allowed to put certain cameras in those areas. They're not allowed to drag the roads. And dragging the roads means that you put the tires in the back and you smooth out the dirt so you can come back and see how many footprints there are in the sand, because that's actually how we do the Border Patrol work. And so all those things are not allowed to be done on the reservation.
Which doesn't make sense to me, because that's a deterrent. We want to deter. We don't want to play gotcha, because at that point it becomes...
There's a lot of money. There's a lot of money involved, you see, and a lot of the people that are living on the reservation are involved with the drug cartels, and they're bringing drugs into the country. So the Native American Council, you have people that get voted on, and if your constituents are making money off the drug trade, well, they're only going to vote for individuals to be leaders in that council that are willing to go against the government and say, we don't want you guys dragging roads. We don't want censors here. We don't want. So it's just been a nonstop battle for many years. And who knows this? The cartels know this. So that is the main corridor for heroin, methamphetamines, fentanyl, marijuana is still coming through there, and human trafficking, of course. because they know how open the area is, and they also know that there's no cooperation from other law enforcement in the state. And at the same time, media is not going to go down there. If you came down here and you wanted to go and see that area, first off, you'd have to stay 2.5 hours from that area of the border. And then you'd have to ask for permission from the Native American tribe to be there and film, and they won't allow that. So it's kind of an unkept secret that the cartels also know about very well, and they've been utilizing this for decades to bring drugs into the country.
So you're telling me, Art, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's still happening today?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. It's still happening to this day. And as an example, when you would see the caravans and the groups that were coming across, and we would see them on television, there's a very famous video during the Biden administration where they were very upset, and there was 300 people that knocked down the barrier in El Paso, Texas. I don't know if you ever saw that. So there was 300 people. They wanted to come into the United States. They took down the fencing there in Texas, in El Paso, and it was 300 of them, and everyone was shocked because of the video. That same weekend, there was over 3,000 that crossed on the Tohono O'odham Nation, but no one was there to film it. No one talked about it. So that's how much more overrun agents were getting and still are getting in those areas of the border.
what could be done about that? Is the administration aware that this is going on?
They're aware, but look, the big problem is you have to go head to head with Congress. You got to go head to head with the governor of Arizona, and then you have to go and make sure that you have a proper sit down and you explain things to the Tohono O'odham Nation Council, the tribal members there, that you're going to have to enforce it.
Uncle Trump has one shot, one opportunity to stop the death of America. One moment with the freedom of interest, but with DC written young.